Yeah, after a run of 3 league wins in a row for Arsenal, they dropped 2 points at Fulham. They're third, 6 points behind Liverpool, who of course also have a game in hand. The point at Craven Cottage for Mikel Arteta's side came despite them having 67% possession and 12 attempts. The Gunners boss told talkSPORT after the game that he was pleased with his side's performance.
What you demand them to do, they absolutely do it. I mean, it was a joy. I haven't seen a team dominate the way they did it to this team. And that's the pathway. That if we do that, the winning probability will be so high to continue to win. And that's the only way that we can think of. And then, work on those small margins because we have some big chances as well. I will then put away and try to do everything so well that at the end there's no chance for the position.
Well, let's get more on this with a man who won the double with Arsenal not once but twice. A very good morning to the legendary goalkeeper, David Seaman. Morning, David.
Morning, David.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah,
well, mate.
good,
We're
thanks.
well.
Look,
Listen, Jeff, I was just going to say, Jeff and I, will you tell us, are we out of order? Because we both felt, yes, Arsenal dominated the game, the majority of possession, but I think both of us were slightly disappointed in terms of their creativity.
Yeah, you're right. That was the only. It's not a negative, but it's that's the downside of the performance. Chances created. When you look at most of the chances that we had were from set pieces.
Yeah.
Obviously, the effectiveness of the corners is brilliant. But you look at Partey's chance. The header that he
Massive.
gets, that's a brilliant chance. The Gabriel offside was very tight. But there's a lot of possession there, but there's not a lot of chances being created in open play.
I mean, watching it, particularly in the first half, David, I thought that there was a lot of possession, but so many players had so many touches on the ball. There was no quick, incisive, inventive passing. It was very slow.
It seemed that way. I'm going to put it down to the weather. As it's shocking over the weekend, but it's frustrating because they play the same way that they did against Fulham as they did in the previous few games, and then they get a hatful of goals. And then all of a sudden, when it goes wrong, we're always criticising. Chances created. Do they need a striker? There's a lot of play that goes in and then back out, and then sideways, rather than it going forward. But that's the way that we play, and then sometimes we create a lot of chances doing that. But obviously at the weekend, we didn't.
David, I think, I've said for a while, mate, I think it's going to be one of these seasons where, people are already writing Manchester City off, Arsenal dropping 2 points here and things like that. But I look at the league and I think it's as competitive from top to bottom, perhaps, as it has been in many, many a year. And I don't see it changing between them. Yes, I think that there's a potential for teams to go on a run, but I think, like City going in 15, 16 winning streak, I don't think we'll be seeing that this year. As I say, I think the Bournemouths, the Brightons, the Brentfords, teams like that are more than capable. Fulham are more than capable of taking points off the favourites to win the title.
Yeah, you did right, Ali. When you look at the fixtures over the weekend, there's results in there where you're thinking, oh, really? Obviously, Man City. You look at Man City. Okay, the run that they're on is not the best, but every team up there at some stage of the season they have a little blip, they have a little wobble. Liverpool have not had theirs yet. City have obviously had quite a big one.
Yeah.
And even Arsenal, we had a couple of games where we should have won and we didn't. Then obviously Chelsea are just they're sneaking in there, mate. And they're not sneaking anymore. As much as their manager wants to play it down, they are in it. Now there's 4 teams in there that are genuine contenders. And I include City in that, definitely.
You still include City in that?
Definitely, Jeff. We all know what they're like. When they get their players back, okay, Rodri's not going to be back. But when they get all their players back, they're going to be strong, and they're just lacking confidence at the moment, and that will come, so beware of that. With Arsenal, the consistency is there. It's about not getting beat, and then hopefully, I think the 3 teams below Liverpool will be hoping that Liverpool do have a little wobble.
I tell you, David, Jeff and I were talking, and he's been brilliant, and there's no way, shape or form this is a criticism of him, far from it. But I've got to say, I thought Anthony Robinson played Saka as well as MD's played him really well, didn't he?
He did. Ali, and Saka's a real handful.
Yes.
And he shows that. Everybody knows that he likes to cut inside, but you give him too much room, and then he'll do you on the outside, and that's what he does that at the weekend. He does that regular. He's a fantastic player, but yeah, he handled him really well. But he still created a couple of decent. Because there was a chance, I think, where he cut inside and crossed it. I think it was for Havertz, and he just missed it. No, Declan Rice, actually. And he just missed it, So his quality is always there, and you just got to be aware of it.
Yeah. I mean, Gabriel Martinelli is obviously being cast as the villain of the piece by straying a fraction offside. But I thought, David, actually, that when he came on as a sub, he gave Arsenal something extra.
Yeah, he did, definitely, Jeff. When he comes on, especially as a sub, he's a really good impact sub. Because he's got that energy. He's got all that energy. And he plays very similar to what Saka does. He likes to show down the left and then cut inside onto his right-hand side, onto his stronger foot. And he was doing that a lot more than what Trossard did. With Martinelli, he can take you on the outside. But, he had a big impact. And it was annoying because he's got a great view down the line as to see where the side. He just strolled a little tiny bit too early. But... it's still a positive for him, and I would imagine that he'll have been disappointed not to start, but he had a great impact coming on.
You touched on it, David. One of the real talking points. I mean, Arsenal for all their great football, and there's plenty of it. Set plays, mate. Dear me, obviously something that you take great interest in yourself. 2 against United, another one at the weekend. They're real threat, mate.
They are, and it's back to the good old days, isn't it, Ali? With the in-swingers,
isn't it?
Sometimes near post flicks and back post headers, but the ball in, it's all about the delivery. Saka and Declan have got it off to a tee. All right, Declan had a couple actually at the weekend where he didn't miss the first man, but he was moaning at him. I'm like, hang on a minute,
he's been brilliant.
Their quality in is brilliant, and then you've got players that are really attacking the ball. They're attacking spaces. They're attacking the space in front of the goalkeeper, which makes it really difficult. And what I am seeing though is a lot of goalkeepers they're not dominating their 6-yard box as we used to. There's a lot of balls that come in, and I'm thinking you've got to make a decision to go and at least do something with it. Like get a flick on it or a punch on it. Just try and deflect it But it's all down to the ball that's coming in. I take it.
Well, I want to ask you briefly, David. I take it from a goalkeeper's point of view, you would far rather a delivery come in with a bit of height in it, somebody hanging up at the back post. The ones you've got a problem with, the one with Declan or Saka, puts his foot on it and whips it in with pace.
Yeah, when I was playing, Ali, as soon as the guys on the corners were going to do an outswing, and I was like, "Oh, that'll do." We're like, that's better. You swing it way out there. I don't have to come for that. But the in-swingers, mate, they're coming in with pace, and as we saw with the weather at the weekend, sometimes them balls are like a bar of
nightmare, absolute nightmare for a keeper. David, thank you very much.
Great to see you, mate.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Take care.
I thought Bernd Leno actually did okay for Fulham in goal. I thought he's pretty solid presence in that Fulham goal at the weekend. Tony the Welk man on a sunny but chilly Bognor Beach says, could someone tell these managers possession does not win games? Goals do. Never a truer word said, Tony.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.